Greetings all. Today I'm going to present to you a video about Belmont Shore. And Belmont Shore is located between the Long Beach Harbor and Alamitos Bay. And it's a nice little supplement to that series here. Of course, what we see is that Belmont Shore is famous for a lot of recreational opportunity, as well as some limited boating amenities such as moorings and anchoring close by. Also, what we have here is kind of a destination where you can recreate quite easily, and it's known for its pretty good beaches and great windsurfing and kiteboarding areas. So bring along your boat, find a place to park, and enjoy this kind of 3, 4, 5 mile region between Alamitos Bay and Long Beach Harbor. So as a point of reference, we have Long Beach Harbor and we have Alamitos Bay. We also have Island White or White Island, and we have the Veterans Pier. And this kind of gives us our location that we're about 3 miles away from Long Beach Harbor, and we're about 1.5 miles away from Alamitos Bay. Belmont Shore is, for the most part, a residential community. However, there are a lot of cruisers amenities. There's grocery stores there. There's propane there. There is fuel, though not a fuel dock way. But there's a lot of nightlife activity and has a lot more stronger local flavor. Also, if you like to recreate, I mentioned kiteboarding, windsurfing. If you like dinghy sailing, there's a lot of opportunities in the Belmont Shore area. It's actually kind of world famous for some of that activity. We have really good consistent winds in the afternoon here, so it makes it a local favorite. It's also a lot less hustle and bustle than, say, downtown Long Beach. Also, we might say that with Alamitos Bay, it's a great cruisers location if you're stopping for a while. But if you're going to hang out for a while, this might be a nice place to visit, especially if you like that small town feel. Now, when we look at Long Beach, it has a lot of amenities, but they're mainly catered to tourists, mainly local tourists as opposed to international tourists. The restaurants there are a little bit overpriced, but they're nice. And we also have other things like the Aquarium of the Pacific, and Queen Mary is right there. So there's a lot of opportunities to see and visit and frolic around there. You go into the downtown area, you definitely get a little bit of local flavor in the Long Beach area. Alamitos Bay, on the other hand, definitely has a local flavor, and I'll do a supplemental video on Seal Beach, which again has more of a small town feel, much like Belmont Shore here. But I would say, you have provisions for the most part. It's not really a nice place to hang out. Belmont Shore, though, because it's so close by, is definitely a good destination that if you want to spend an evening out, spend a few hours shopping, this might give you a little bit of a better feel. So it definitely has a neat vibe to it. So what I've been showing you are some clips of 2nd Street in Belmont Shore, and it's host to, kind of the big amenities that we have here. A lot of restaurants, all different types of cuisines from all different levels. Not a whole heck of a lot of fast food, but, moving up there a little bit. A lot of boutique shops. There's also a postal area, so if you're hanging out in the area and need something mailed, you could actually use the Belmont Shore postal area and have packages actually delivered there. There's a lot of banks in the area, a lot of boutique shops, specialty shops, so it has a nice little vibe for that type of shopping. So for dinner, hanging out for a while, hey, great place to go. Again, I also mentioned the recreation activities, and what we do see, Belmont Shore really shines during a lot of the holiday times. And so getting to 2nd Street in Belmont Shore is relatively easy, especially from Alamitos Bay. Alamitos Bay is only about 1 mile away. You walk across Naples Island, yes, a small island in the Pacific, and you're there. Naples Island has a few restaurants, but not a whole heck of a lot of other amenities. It's really when you get into Belmont Shore that 2nd Street really rocks and rolls. If you're in Long Beach, it's about 3 miles away. You could take a city bus. You could bike. There's a really nice bike path that goes right along the beach from Long Beach. You could take these scooters that are everywhere. You can hop on one of those, you could Uber it, or you could actually take the city bus, and that's a short ride from either direction. Again, all you want to say is, hey, are you going to 2nd Street in Belmont Shore? We also have the Aqualink, and I've mentioned this in my previous videos, and that's a boat bus that goes from Long Beach to Alamitos Bay and Alamitos Bay back to Long Beach. So you could actually take that to commute between either areas. Otherwise, it's relatively easy. Hey, it's also a good walk along the Bluff Park area to get to 2nd Street in Long Beach. Another landmark associated with Belmont Shore besides 2nd Street is the Veterans Pier. It's located kind of on the west end of town. This will be an important location for looking at cruising mooring opportunities and anchoring opportunities. It is home to a few restaurants like the Belmont Brewing Company. There's a Vaughn's grocery store, and there's Chuck's, home of the Weasel, famous for its breakfasts and brunches. Well, Belmont Shore not only has nice beaches where you could go sea glass hunting, it's also world famous for its kiteboarding and formerly windsurfing. And we were home to Kite Beach. It's a very friendly beach to go kiteboarding in that the winds are consistent in the afternoon, and it tends to have a long sandy bottom. So it's great to learn and practice some of your skills associated with that. We're also protected by the breakwater, so we tend not to get a lot of ocean swell. Do get chop in the afternoon. If you're a more advanced kiteboarder, again, the consistent winds, and you could even go out and jump some islands, I guess. Kind of joking there. We're also home to a lot of sailing activities in that with Alamitos Bay and Long Beach Yacht Club, there's a lot of regattas that take place just about every weekend during the summer. And we're also host to the Congressional Cup, which is a match racing cup. And a lot of world sailing champions are from that. And it's also a stepping stone to the America's Cup. This is all kind of been a precursor to the Olympics that are coming up here, where windsurfing, kiteboarding, and sailing are all going to be activities around here in the Long Beach area. We used to be famous for our surfing, but with the breakwater, it's very unusual. But sometimes during the winter and even during the summer with the south swell, you can surf in Long Beach, California. Well, one may wonder when's a good time to visit Belmont Shore. For the most part, March to December is the best time. January and February tends to be quite a bit rainy. Of course, there's always something going on in Belmont Shore, and one of our highlights is the 3rd and 4th of July. So as a cruiser, if you come over here on the 3rd of July, you could check out fireworks in Alamitos Bay. Then on the 4th of July, Alamitos Bay has its Horny Corner event, and where all the college students come out there, and there's a lot of sightseeing. Then on the 4th of July in the evening, over in Long Beach, we have fireworks. So yeah, we definitely overdo it on 4th of July, and it's a great time of year to actually be here, though moorings could get a little bit tight. Again, we have things going on all the time. In Alamitos Bay, there's water polo events. You could go kayaking. Again, sailing regattas all times of year, just about every weekend around here. As we start to move into the fall, in September, we have our car show in Belmont Shore. Halloween's a really fun time where, you know, the crowds hit the street. And then when we start to get into December, Naples Island really does up the lights, and this is in Alamitos Bay. And it's always a fun time with the boat parade that we have not only in Long Beach, but also Alamitos Bay. We also have the city parade on 2nd Street in Belmont Shore. Then the lights over on Naples Island. So it's always a festive. There's always something going on here. So if you're interested in these type of activities, especially family activities, definitely come here. Again, in the spring over in Long Beach, we have the Long Beach Grand Prix, and it's a great time to visit. So depending on what you're interested in, check ahead, and you could really curtail on some of the activities that go along in this area. Well, as you can see, Belmont Shore, Alamitos Bay, and Long Beach all have a lot of fun opportunities. It makes a good destination if you're cruising up and down the coast to actually stop in here. Alamitos Bay and Shoreline Village over in Long Beach, for slip opportunities, There are some mooring opportunities at Island White, or White Island as we call it locally. There's also some anchoring locations just off the breakwater up near the bait barge, and I talk about that in both my other videos about actually getting moorage there, and you want to check in because this is a big harbor area, the Port of Long Beach and stuff, so you want to check in if you're going to do some long-term anchoring out there. Over at Island White, there's some mooring opportunities through the Belmont Mooring Company. There's also weekend anchorage there. And if you pull in late at night or looking to get out of weather, I think they'll kind of let that slide a little bit so you can actually hang out right there. Unfortunately, the opportunities for actually getting onto shore from these moorings is a little bit more difficult. You generally would have to go over to Alamitos Bay or Shoreline Village over in Long Beach to actually dock your dinghy. You can make a beach landing there, but you want to make sure you lock up your dinghy if you do. There's really no accommodations on Veterans Pier for actually picking up, even though it's really close by. So it works out as a pretty good location, I would say, for actually mooring. And if you do plan on making a shore departure or landing, what you want to do is check conditions. Sometimes the surf can get a little bit rough, but 80% of the time it's not too bad. Of course, we are prone to some riptides, and if we get Santa Ana conditions off the south, or if there's a tropical storm approaching. So we do have this opportunity right here. Also, it's a good place to lay low. It's a lot less expensive than Shoreline or over at Alamitos Bay. Well, I hope you enjoyed this Belmont Shore accompaniment to the Shoreline Village, Long Beach area and the Alamitos Bay video. You can see that this stretch of the California coast has a lot to offer as a place to actually visit and hang out and stay in your journeys, whether north or south, or if you're just looking for a local cruising location to hang out for a few days. Well, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. And we'll see you on the next video, and have a good time on the water. Bye-bye.